welcome to the show, everybody. Sean Palmer over there, Morgan over there.
Who? Her?
That's her.
Who are you?
Hi, Morgan.
Morgan.
That's right.
Morgan. So we got Morgan Kamens, a special guest. Morgan Kamens, who does not have Twitter or Facebook yet. God help Seth, what she actually does.
Not for another 22, 23 years.
Is today first day of school, Morgan? First day for you too?
No, we have another week for Jake, another week and a half for Morg. She starts preschool.
Oh, sweet.
She's a little temperamental. By a little temperamental, I mean
a lot
really temperamental.
Oh, that's all right. So Seth Kamens is over there. I'm Sean Palmer, Seth and Sean Sports Radio. You can find us on Twitter at Seth and Sean or on Facebook, Seth and Sean Sports. You can also find Seth over there at S. Kamens and myself at SU Lawyer 2001. And even more so, if you'd like to get in touch with Morgan, well, don't.
You don't.
Anyway, no, you don't. No,
we already had one person try and get in touch with Morgan, and that didn't. No.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so that's a bad idea. So today is Fantasy Football Day.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! I'm actually excited. Look, I am legitimately excited about Fantasy Football Day. Look, and Morgan's really excited about fantasy football.
Morgan.
But first and foremost,
this. I came home because we're expecting about 8 inches of rain over the next 36 hours.
Awesome.
And here's the problem. Every time I come home, I got this. Morgan, I'm right here. Do you want? Are you a Jets fan? And is this what being a Jets fan has been like for the last 25 years?
Certainly been what it's like for the last 2 months with our defense. Today's Carl Lawson.
I was going to say Steve Lawson coming in, a bobble.
No, we actually got Quentin Williams' brother, Quincy, who was because why would we sign good players off the waiver wire? We're going to get
because to be fair, there's probably not too many that very good players. I mean, look, if you're signing off the waiver wire, there's a reason you're signing off the waiver.
Oh, absolutely. But more importantly today, the Islanders finally made some signings. So
they're own guys.
Well, yeah, but they had put them. What Lou Lamoriello has become known for is signing his guys and then putting those contracts in the drawer, and at a later time announcing them. So the Islanders are now back into full swing. Kyle Palmieri, Casey Cizikas, Ilya Sorokin, Anthony Beauvillier, all re-signed to be on the island. And
considering we have college football starting next week, we're in the heart of baseball season. We have fantasy football. That is me. That's right. We have NFL starting next week. The one thing I give a flying F about are re-signings of the New York Islanders.
Well, that's why I'm wearing the Syracuse shirt, right?
Because your team's going to go 2-10 this year.
Right. So we're 0-0, and we're on a winning streak. So look, we won the orange and blue spring practice game. So we're on a 1-game winning streak. So that's why I'm wearing the Syracuse orange. But before we get to that, the NBA, we had one trade, right? Last week, Lauri Markkanen gets traded to the Cavaliers in Damian Lillard's, dream scenario. He picks up Larry Nance. I don't think that was
probably didn't move the trade. But it's a good trade for them. But
I really like the trade. I'm actually impressed by Chicago in that they gave up Lauri Markkanen, who they didn't want, and came back with a protected first rounder and a second round pick. Good on that.
I think it's win-win for both teams.
Yeah, the only team that loses is the Cavs. The Cavs signed Markkanen to 3 years plus a partially guaranteed fourth year with $68 million. And now they have Jared Allen. They have a $250 million front court. And only 3 out of the 4 of those players can play.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Not really sure where that gets you. So we have the NFL starting next week after Labor Day. Opening day is a week from tomorrow. And I will, of course, be on a plane for the game on Southwest. So hopefully I'll be able to.
On this plane?
I see the plane. Southwest.
The plane, boss. The plane.
Look, boss, the plane. I'll be on a plane for opening night, but our fantasy draft will be next Wednesday. Happy New Year to all. But we will be doing our fantasy draft and our show on Rosh Hashanah somehow on that night. So we'll figure out.
Then Yom Kippur the week after. Good times.
Oh, Kol Nidre is actually on that Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah, we may be able to get it done before then. But.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that. But anyway,
do we want to talk before we get to fantasy? Well, first of all, I didn't get to give my final 4 picks because I got cut off.
Oh, sure.
I apologize. I ended up having to leave. Just sometimes it happens when you work when it happens. Did you even do Heisman picks or not really? Or
we did not do a Heisman pick. I did pick my 4. So I picked Georgia. I didn't have much. I had Oklahoma, Alabama, Clemson, and
Ohio State.
And Ohio State. Yeah, I had Georgia out. I had Oklahoma in.
Okay, so yeah, I have Georgia. Good for you. I have Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, and you know what? Just for leaping giggles, I'm going to say Clemson loses to Georgia, goes 11-1, and has no legitimate top 15 wins outside of this, and miss it.
So you're saying that they lose to Georgia and they're going to lose to UNC because you have UNC as a top 15, top 25 team.
I have Clemson going 11. I don't. I have UNC. UNC is their only win of value.
Okay, so there is going to be a win of value, right?
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be enough to get them in.
Into the playoff.
Into the playoff. I think they missed the playoff at 11-1. Let's say I'll do something interesting.
Wait, no. But you have because they played Georgia in week 1.
Exactly.
So Georgia beating them in week 1, them not able to recover all the way because there's no positive wins.
There's no win good enough to redeem that. And if you have Ohio State 11-1, Oklahoma 11-1, remember Oklahoma has Iowa State. Plus, they probably have to play them twice.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I have. Oh, you know what? I had Iowa State winning the Big 12. I'll put them in. Let's have fun with this. I'll put them in. They're my Nebraska pick for twice.
Matt Campbell going to the Final Four.
How many jobs would he get offered?
He has all the jobs now.
Yes.
Matt Campbell could have whatever job Matt Campbell wants right now.
He's got a pretty good choice. I wouldn't, but if that happens, Jim Harbaugh is probably out of a job. Michigan would be open. Clay Helton at USC.
Right, but hold on, but let's stop for a second.
Daddy's working.
Let's presume that those two guys are out of a job anyway. Matt Campbell's on that list. It doesn't today.
Right.
Never mind the 4, right? He doesn't need to make the 4 to make that list.
Thank you,
for
Morgan.
Michigan or
you have
USC.
To go to the NFC, Morgan.
For Michigan or USC right now.
Yes, that's true. But maybe the pro jobs. The only one he was looking for was Detroit was looked at. I think was Detroit.
The Jets wanted him, and he took himself out of the running. I mean,
what does it say? Although I like the coach he got, I like Robert Saleh, but what does it say that the coach of Iowa State did not have interest?
Hold on a second, but you could say the same thing about any other team that went after Kurt Ferenz, right?
That's Iowa. This is Iowa State.
But Iowa State has been a better team than Iowa the last 3 years.
Yes, but for the Iowa State before that, for the 50 years before that, was one of the 5 biggest also-rans in college football.
I get it, but my point is, if Bill Snyder was turned down jobs, you would have an equivalent.
I don't know if Bill Snyder ever turned down.
My point is, before Bill Snyder, they were the same as Iowa State, right? Yes. So if he turned down jobs, you'd have the same scenario.
Did he turn down jobs?
I don't know. But Matt Campbell has not gone anywhere. He has re-signed each time. He has gotten a raise each time. And he has stayed at Iowa State. And he has said, I want to stay there. Now, if Michigan backs up the truck to $10 million, does he want to stay there? I mean, look, At one point, Doug Marrone said that Syracuse was his dream job until Buffalo called. So, I mean, who knows if Matt Campbell stays. But if he makes the top 4 and stays, then really he's Kirk Ferentz, right? He's staying. He's not going anywhere.
He will eventually. The difference is he will eventually leave.
We've said that about Ferentz for the last 20 years.
No, we haven't. We thought there was a chance that he would leave, but he's also he always has felt like a Midwest Iowa guy. Campbell, I mean, is a Midwest guy. That's why Michigan makes the most sense. But it is amazing to me that a coach from Iowa State turned down a chance to be with the Jets or interview with the Jets or whatever. It's just kind of mind-boggling.
All right, so Matt Campbell, and I love going down these forays. So Matt Campbell is born in Ohio. He's 41 years old.
Yep.
He played for Pittsburgh and played for Mount Union. So he actually transferred from Pittsburgh to Mount Union.
And you know which one's a better football school, right?
Well, probably Mount Union if he – yeah. So he coached at Bowling Green, Mount Union, Bowling Green, Toledo, and now Iowa State. So he's made his way up, right? I mean, he's continued to progress, but he's been at Iowa State since 2016. I mean, he's got 3-9, 3-9, 8-5, 8-5, 7-6, and last year 9-3 and won the Fiesta Bowl. If he's not leaving off of that, I mean,
well, because look, the 3 best players from that team are back.
Yeah,
the running back Hall, the quarterback Purdy, and their defensive player, I forget the name. Like he thinks they can look. Yes, you broke it. Sorry, there's nothing I can do. He thinks that this team can make the playoffs.
And you agree with him.
I think there's a shot. I think his feeling is, no matter what happens, I have my ticket written. This is the team that I'm going to run with and see with 1 year what I can do. And then after that, we'll see.
All right, so I'm going to name some coaches, and you tell me if they are fired at the end of this year. Okay?
I think I know where we're starting.
If they survive. No, we're not starting with Harbaugh.
I wasn't starting with Harbaugh. We're starting with Dino Babers.
No, we're not starting with Dino Babers. Dan Mullen.
No, he's not fired.
Okay.
He went 10-2. He's not loved there, but he's not going to be fired.
Okay. Lance Leopold.
Didn't he just take a new job? He's only been at a job for like a month.
At Kansas.
He'll last a year.
Okay. Fair enough. Brian Kelly. He stays, right?
Brian Kelly's there until he retires.
Mark Stoops in Kentucky.
I don't think he's fired. I would not be surprised if he left.
The next guy I totally think is gone. And not because he's getting fired, but he's got promotion written all over him. And that's Luke Fickell. Luke Fickell from Cincinnati is going to get a job. And by a job, I mean a job.
Here's the thing with Fickell. I think Fickell is waiting for Ryan Day to go to the pros. I think he wants Ohio State. I think that's the job he wants. I think unless he's getting in Oklahoma, a Texas, a USC, that caliber job, I don't think he jumps anywhere.
Well, let's go to USC and Clay Helton.
Clay Helton's going to be fired.
Okay, so Fickell could take that job.
He could.
Right?
He could.
By the way, Fickell is 31-6 in his last 3 seasons. Brian Kelly is 33-6 in his last 3 seasons. You don't hear Fickell's name amongst the best of the coaches.
Because it's Cincinnati and no one gets credit in Cincinnati. And remember, he coached when Urban Meyer was, he spent like a month as a head coach at Ohio State, did a good job. He's comfortable he's an Ohio guy. He's pretty comfortable where he is, meaning he's not going to jump to Maryland if they fired Mike Loxley. He's not going to jump to Syracuse if they fired Dino Babers. He'll jump to Michigan. He's making that jump.
Okay.
No, but I think he wants Ryan Day's job. I think that's. I mean, he's an Ohio guy. What better job is there than that?
James Franklin.
I don't think James Franklin is fired. I would not be surprised if James Franklin ended up at USC.
Okay. All right. Mike Loxley.
Mike Loxley's not being fired. He's got 2 more years of leeway.
Okay. Scott Frost.
Scott Frost is it.
I love this one because he's the native son. Firing Scott Frost is going to take a lot of
I don't think they fire Scott Frost. I do think he's got 1 more year after this.
Okay.
And I'll take this one. He's got 1 more year after this. And I think it's a mutual accord leave because, I mean, they lost at home to Illinois. Like, this is not getting better.
Okay. Well, speaking of Illinois, Brett Bielema.
He's been there for 1 game. Why the hell did they fire him? He just got here.
Just like everybody else gets fired. All right. And 2 more. Last but not least, Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, I think they go 7-4. They lose a game or 2 they shouldn't lose. They can't beat Ohio State. And we call it a day.
And Dino Babers.
How much is Dino Babers owed on his contract?
They don't make contracts public. It's a private university.
Do you know how many years? Morgan?
I have no idea on how many years he actually has left on his contract. Hold on, I could look that up, but I don't think it's going to be said.
You want to come and say hi to Uncle Sean?
So Dino Babers, hey buddy.
Guys, Daddy's hosting a radio show that has millions and millions of listeners.
Okay, so it says that it runs through 2024, supposedly.
So you're buying out 3 or 4 years of a contract.
No, 2. 2022, 2023. I think it runs out at the end of 23, 24. So
he's got 2 years out. Oh, well, yeah, then he's probably fired.
Probably fired.
It's just the team never recovered from their loss to Maryland.
That's exactly what it was. The team's lost to Maryland.
Guys, can you help Diana make pasta? Go help Diana make pasta. Go Maryland.
Okay. So before we get to the fantasy leagues, it is the era of Mac Jones, my friend. The era of Mac Jones begins.
Yeah. The question that first of all, the ESPN cover article of no one will ever call Bill Belichick a coward is, well, no one has ever called Bill Belichick a coward anyway.
Not one bit.
So, you know what? Team's not going anywhere with Newton. And I think he pissed people off about the vaccine. Yep. I don't care what they say. And you have a rookie quarterback who they're happy with, who outplayed him according to Shaughnessy, outplayed him, or whoever, I think it was Shaughnessy, outplayed him.
Does it really matter? Like that, at the end of the day, Cam Newton's not going to be a backup. He may be a backup.
He's not going to be a backup in New England.
Right. Well, that's what I meant. He wasn't going to be a backup in New England. And quite frankly, I don't think he finds another team. I think he's done. I don't. Because I think he does.
Hold
on. But Cam Newton coming in as a backup quarterback is reinventing your entire system. What teams could play the same system with their current quarterback that they play with Cam Newton?
There's one team. Look, nobody runs the way Newton does. The team that I kind of think is going to make
Seattle.
Seattle's not a bad call, actually. I actually think Dallas is going to pick him up as their backup.
Oh, God help us. Tell
me it doesn't fit. If they have Cooper Rush as their backup quarterback. Tell me it doesn't fit.
I thought they signed somebody today, but anyway, okay.
They may have. I had a long day, so.
Yeah. Look, it makes sense. I get it. I just feel like it's what a horrible concept having him there. Yeah.
Oh no, come on, man, having him.
Oh, they picked up Will Greer. That's who they picked up today.
That's not gonna.
No, that's not gonna stop picking up Cam Newton.
No,
but my Lord. Yeah, it fits because he could probably run the same type of offense, but Dak is a more throw the ball down the field guy, right? I mean,
do you think that's ever? Do you think philosophy has ever stopped Jerry Jones from making a marketing dollar?
No, that's true. That's a good point. So they're going to sign Tim Tebow next, right, to play linebacker.
Well, considering Dalton Schultz is still out and Blake Jarwin's your only tight end, or is it
no. I said to play linebacker, just as some other position, because Lord knows he can play there. So what is the upside to the Patriots at this point? What do you, with Mac Jones as their quarterback, what is their floor and what is their ceiling? And we're going to get a lot more into this next week on our NFL preview.
Yeah, this is next week's big show.
But how much does your opinion of the Patriots change
or
decrease?
It doesn't change one way or the other.
Okay.
You still have really no wideouts. You know, their tight ends are Henry and Jonnu Smith. It's a lot of money for a lot of injury. You know, Nelson Aguilar is their number one? Or did he jump? Yeah, I mean.
No, he's on the Patriots. Yeah.
Who
he went to the Patriots. He went to the Patriots. No, I said he jumped to the Patriots.
Yeah, so you have no real threat.
And Jacoby Myers. Remember, it's always about the personal injury attorneys.
Yeah, I knew where you were going with that, but God, you butchered the crap out of it.
I did.
Yeah, the team doesn't scare anyone on the offensive end. The running backs, look, is it going to be Stevenson, the fourth round rookie? Is it going to be Damian Harris? Is it James White catching 172 balls out of the backfield? I mean, their defense will be better. Their offensive line will be, they get Hightower back. Their offensive line will be better. Well, not really because they lost Thuney, but they get back David Andrews. They're a 6-10, 7-9 team.
Okay,
and what it does is it gives you 1 year of, okay, let's see what we have with Mac Jones.
Okay, so two things about that. First of all, we're no longer 6-10. We're either 6-11 or 7.
6-11, 5-10, 6-11.
It's still weird. It's still really weird to go down that road of 17 games. But while we're on the Patriots, which running back are you picking in your draft?
Stevenson.
Okay, and you think from day one, or is that?
I'm taking him because I have no idea what the hell to do. No one has ever had an idea what to do with New England running backs.
Sure.
So this way I take him low, and if it's worthwhile, I keep him. He's a keeper. And if not, I just cut him.
So no earlier than, say, 10th round.
Yeah, I don't think so. Look, they're running back by committee, but this isn't even a committee. We have no concept. Look, how many times have you thought it was going to be Sony Michel and it was James White, or you thought it was going to be Corey Dillon going back, and it was Kevin Falk.
No, I like Rex Buckhead.
Or Danny Woodside. No one is
Danny Woodhead.
Danny Woodhead, excuse me, not Danny Woodside.
For 3 touchdowns on opening day against the Jets.
Well, we all know what New England does to the Jets. But although if it makes you feel better, my son has decided based on the Jets-Giants preseason game, he is a Jets fan.
All right.
I found that very disappointing.
Welcome to the family, Jake.
What family?
Family of family. There's only a family of maybe, I don't know, 1,000 people, but we're all Jets fans.
Yes, and look how happy you guys are over the last 25 years. So, I mean, no one ever can read New England offenses.
Okay.
Unless you had Hernandez, Gronkowski, you had Moss, Welker, you had Edelman, you had Troy Brown even before then.
Sure.
You knew one or two guys that you had, forgetting obviously the quarterback. Nobody's got a bleeping clue on how this offense is going to play out.
So let's play the quarterback. 2-quarterback league. How much are you spending on Mac Jones?
$2 or $3.
You're using him as a third quarterback, not as a starter.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's move on to we're in the AFC East, so we might as well continue. Devin Singletary or Zach Moss? And where are you utilizing your space in an auction league or in a snake draft on either one of those guys?
10th or 11th round. I have no interest in any running back in Buffalo unless O.J. Simpson's coming back or Thurman Thomas is coming back. Probably Thurman because I don't think he's going to be arrested halfway through the season. Buffalo, look, we know what we're getting with Buffalo. We have a top 3 quarterback in Allen. We have a top 5 wideout in Diggs. Let's be honest here. Nobody knows what to make. Emmanuel Sanders, who has been a favorite of ours over the years.
He has.
We don't know what he has left. But is a solid number 2. Could he be a 60, 70 catch guy? Yeah, he could. Gabriel Davis, don't know.
Look, I'm a big fan of Emmanuel Sanders this year, as we always are. But I think you're right. 60 catches and 900 yards is within reason for Emmanuel Sanders.
So if you can get that for $4 or $5,
yeah.
For those of you who actually haven't watched, well, nobody's ever watched the show for this, but are new to the show. Sean and I have been on this. Have had the same team. We co-own a team for the last 9 years,
somewhere around there.
Yep. We've, after a rough first year, we've won 3 titles, 4 titles, 3 titles, lost in the finals 3 times. We've been consistently pretty solid. And I do 5 fantasy leagues because it's the only pretty much place I get to do anything fun. Because let's be honest, married with kids. And we know Carly's not watching, Sean. So,
And I used to do many more fantasy leagues than Seth, and now I have brought myself back, and I do, I think, 3 or 4 at this point. I do a couple of pick'em leagues as well for just picking the games. But this fantasy league that Seth and I talk about in the Seth and Sean Sports Radio is an auction league, so that's why we talk about money, and we have 3 keepers, and we talk very much about Nabate Isles because it's easy to talk trash about Nabate Isles and the rest of his league. But defense is included in this league, and we seem to do pretty well on picking defense every year.
Because it's IDPs, it's individual players.
And Buffalo has a tremendous defense for IDPs. And if you're looking for guys in that realm, you're looking at Matt Milano, who plays the weak side inside linebacker. And you're looking at Tremaine Edwards, who plays their middle linebacker. Word to the wise. Always pick middle linebackers. Middle linebackers and Jamal Adams. Everybody else.
We call that the Luke Kuechly rule.
We do. And Luke Kuechly will always would have always gone for about $8 based on his name. And then we pick up like the Matt Milanos for $1.
Yep.
Or the Jared Davises. So moving on to the next team in the AFC East. Look, the Jets don't have much.
No.
I'm not sure that Zach Wilson is worth a spot on your fantasy league unless you are looking at a long-term
you have a dynasty
league. As far as the running back position is concerned, I really like Tevin Campbell. I think he's going to put up 900.
No, Tevin Campbell's the singer. Tevin Coleman is the Tevin Campbell sound like round and round. And apparently, because I now listen to Disney when I drive in the car every day, does a lot of the Disney movies.
Okay. So Tevin Coleman, excuse me. Yeah. He's coming over from the 49ers. Robert Saleh was the defensive coordinator. I think that this is a sleeper pick for guys that need a second or third running back. Do not count on him for your first running back. Unless you're doing wide out in the first 2 rounds, which, to tell you the truth, the more and more research I look into, the more research I don't mind doing that. If you're at the 10th or 11th, the 9th or 10th pick.
Yeah, I mean, I've come around on this. It used to be you automatically go running back, and then you kind of go from there. But what's happened is it's almost like a tier where you have your top 5 or 6 running backs. McCaffrey, Cook, Kamara, Elliott, Chubb, whatever your flavor is, Derrick Henry. But I would rather have a Devontae Adams and a Tyreek Hill than a Clyde Edwards-Helaire, just because he's a running back.
Yeah.
I'd rather have the number ones at position. This is why Kelsey's so valuable right now.
Yeah.
And why I have a love affair with Darren Waller. Because you'd rather have these top guys and the position be damned than why is Kelsey, well, not possession be damned, why is Kelsey going, is the first tight end we've ever seen go in the first round? Maybe Gronk 1 or 2 years. Because there's such a distinguishable difference between him at tight end than anyone else. Although I put Waller pretty close.
Yep.
When you after you get past that 8 or 9 running backs, I have one snake league and I'm 5th, and it's a super flex it's a super flex, and it's very simple. Kamara, McCaffrey, Cook, Adams, Mahomes. Whoever's left, that's who my player is.
Yep.
And but what's happened is, and I think Sean, you feel the same way. The drafts are the snake drafts for the most part with one QB are so simple at this point that because there used to be a knowledge base which gave you an added advantage, or I thought it did. And then I had that advantage and never won a league in 15 years.
Well, and the other thing is, look, now that websites are so prolific,
right? It's done for you.
Everybody's done 1,000 mock drafts. That's potentially why I love auction drafts.
Yes.
Because it's all variable. And I've come around on individual defensive players, which I originally hated because I didn't see the value in them. But since we have started the Nabate Isles League, it just gives a subjective, something subjective that is not necessarily, not everybody does their scouting on Tremaine Edmonds, or does their scouting on what we used to have was Bill Romanowski, right? These guys that, and I hope nobody in our league is listening to this, and I would highly doubt it.
I doubt it.
But if you did not know, there are the tackles. The number of tackles is done on a per team basis. So it's not an official scorer from the NFL. It's actually done by the official score of that individual team. So there are some teams that routinely have more tackles than others. And 2 of those teams, Seth, believe it or not, are the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is why we always had James Farrier, and we always go after Devin Bush, right? Devin White, and the New York Jets, which is why we used to go after James Farrier on the New York Jets. The middle linebackers or Neville Hewitt last year, where we actually had him for two games, and he had 22 tackles in total. The fact of the matter is there are certain teams that definitely have higher tackle numbers than others. Carolina as well, as we saw with Luke Kuechly. But okay, so let's move on for the Dolphins. Myles Gaskin. Where and why?
Well, and this is kind of my point. Is you see him going in the high sec, as your running back 2, where you're scared that
you're not going to get one.
You feel the need to get one. If I have him in the 3rd round? If I'm in the 3rd round and my choice is a Justin Jefferson, a Amari Cooper, that kind of number 10 to number 12 wide receiver, or the number 20 running back, I'm going 10, 12 receiver.
I will tell you, I am the one that generally stocks up on running backs in every snake draft. I generally have like 8 running backs at the end.
Well, usually also 6 quarterbacks. So what does that leave you with?
No. I'm talking about in my snake drafts, not my auction drafts. They're generally about, I load up on running backs. By the way, that strategy does not work. Every single year I try it, and every single year it does not work. So this year, hopefully, I will have a pick like in the middle of the 1st round rather than the top. And I will be forced to take a wide receiver. That would be nice. Or a Travis Kelce. I am known as the guy in my league that takes the first tight end every year. It was the Tony Gonzalez rule. So,
look,
okay.
if I don't know if I will take Waller at 15 in my I may because there's
You have keepers, right? You have a keeper. My keeper is Aaron Rodgers. in that league, I believe. And if that's the case, I am going to need to take a running back in the first round.
Yeah.
There is no way around that.
You can keep up to now. I won the league that last year and the year before, but the only guy I'm keeping is Jerry Jeudy. My team stunk. I got lucky and got just on a hot streak, but I can't keep players more than 1 year, and I had Josh Allen, so he has to go back in. And I would get Jerry Jeudy in the 11th round, which is a perfect number 3 wide receiver. Yeah. So I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah. So I'm actually looking at my league, but anyway. So Miami, Will Fuller. Where is Will Fuller is suspended for the first game? He has
first game or first 6?
No, I think they said for the first game, just the first game. So if he's suspended for the first game, where is he in where you are?
Probably, if he misses 1 game, he's around 25. He's a low end number. He's a low 2, high 3 wide. He's a flex. Because you could get 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, or you could get 1 catch for 9 yards with Fuller. And he's now going to be the number 1 in a division that really, well, with Stephen Gilmore hurt, only has 1 legitimate cornerback, and that's Tre'Davious White. The Jets, nothing personal. Your cornerbacks stink.
Yeah,
and the Patriots, the Patriots, I shouldn't say that. Jackson's a good corner also. I'd rather almost have the number 2. Like we brought up Amari Cooper. I don't particularly love Dallas, but at least you're going to be facing the number 2, or if it's CeeDee Lamb, depending on who your choice is. I'd rather have the high end number 2, who's going to go against the number 2 corner on the team, than a low end number 1, who's going to be facing the number 1 corners, where he's never established himself as a great number 1 anyway. So I wouldn't mind him as a flex, but I'm not going crazy for him.
All right, so here's my situation, and I'll ask you this question. Aaron Rodgers in the 7th, Amari Cooper in the 10th, or Chase Edmonds in the 16th?
How many quarterbacks?
1 quarterback.
Amari Cooper in the 10th.
Yeah, I think that might be the kit. I think that might be the poll.
Look, Chase Edmonds has never run more than 150. Never had more than 130 carries in a season because he always gets hurt.
Right.
He'll be the starter in Arizona. He'll split time with James Conner. Look, Rodgers is great. You can probably get Rodgers again in the 5th or 6th.
Yeah, that's what I was.
You're not getting. Cooper's going. And I don't love Cooper. Cooper to me is a good number 2.
Right.
He's an 80, 107 guy.
Yep.
But Gallup.
I got Gallup in the 8th too. I got Gallup before.
You took Gallup before Cooper?
No, I got Cooper in the free agency. Somebody cut him last year.
Okay. Also, for those of you who've watched the show, Zach Ziskin, 10:30 this morning, Emmy Michaela Ziskin was born. 6 pounds, 13 ounces. Awesome. Congratulations, Zach. Have fun with 2 girls.
Congratulations, Zach. Okay, so let's move quickly through. If you're looking at the AFC North, where are you taking Chubb and where are you taking Hunt?
Chubb is the end of the 1st. He's somewhere around number 7 running back, give or take. He's in there that if you want to go wide out, or if you're 11, 12 and you want him on the flip, he's perfect. Hunt is around 4th round.
And my affection for Hunt. I think
right, because in PPR he's sensational.
And I think
you can get him at a good deal.
He will once again be hopefully on the Seth and Sean Sports Radio team. Okay, Baltimore, is there a wideout worth taking? Because I don't see one.
The only one I would consider taking in the 14th or 15th round is Rashad Bateman.
Okay, who's hurt? Who's hurt?
Yeah.
Right, so you're looking long-term. Pittsburgh, where is Najee Harris?
Middle of the 2nd round. Sorry, 1 second. I'm just
because Pittsburgh loves to run the ball. Now, granted, their offensive line is a little sketchy. And the next question is, where does Juju Schuster go? I'm staying away from all 3 Pittsburgh wideouts. Okay.
I can't figure out who they're going to go to, how they're going to differentiate. You tell me between Schuster, Claypool, and Deontay Johnson, who's going to be the number one? Nobody's got a damn clue.
No, I'm with you. I'm totally with you. So let's go to a different scenario here. And while we have many different players in in the same position, T. Higgins or Jamar Chase? And I'm telling you, I'm picking Higgins. I like Higgins.
Especially in a non-keeper. Because wide receivers don't typically, Jefferson last year was the anomaly. Wide receivers do not are not like running backs where if they start, they're going to get 1,000 yards for the most part. Wide receivers take time to develop in the league. How many Randy Moss was incredible. How many great rookie receivers, think about it, Sean, just off the top of your head, do you remember?
Rob Moore? I mean, Altoon.
You're going back to 1985.
No, I understand. No, this is to your point, right?
Wide receivers typically take 2 or 3 years to become. So if you have, for keeper purposes, and look, T. Higgins is 23 years old. It's not like he's been around for 5, 6, 7 years. Sure. But that's a nice team. I shouldn't say it's a nice team, but it's a nice wide receiver trio. You just hope that the offensive line can, similar to the Giants, the offensive line can hold Joe Burrow up.
Which is funny because the Giants got one of Cincinnati's offensive linemen in Bill.
Right, but the Giants also got rid of $1.7 million of money.
Sure.
In the trade.
By the way, update, I can keep Amari Cooper in the 16th round, not in the 10th, not in the 9th.
This is not a discussion.
Not a discussion. You pick him. Okay. All right. Moving on to the AFC South. Look, we know we're keeping Henry. But as far as the Texans are concerned, where is Tyrod Taylor going? And in a 2-quarterback league or in a keeper he's not going in a 1-quarterback league, in a snake draft.
He's not going in a 2-quarterback league.
Really? So you don't think he's going in our league?
He will be the last quarterback taken.
Oh, and I dispute that highly. How many games do you think Deshaun Watson's playing this year?
I don't think Deshaun Watson. Look, he's the last current starting quarterback being taken.
I want him on our team. I want Tyrod Taylor on our team.
Right, because he's our 4th quarterback. I get it.
No, I want him as a starter on our team. We may
have to have a discussion. Well, again, if we're going to spend a lot of money on wideouts and running backs, we can get Tyrod Taylor for $4.
Look, Tyrod Taylor, when given the opportunity,
he's been a decent quarterback. I get that. They have no surrounding talent. Who's the number 1 wideout in Houston?
Brandon Cooks.
Fair. Who's the number 2?
Anthony Miller.
Fair. Great.
No, I'm not saying Anthony Miller's a great, but they have Rex Burkhead and Ingram and David Johnson. And
Philip Lindsay. And Lindsay's, I think, the starter.
They have Chris Conley. Look, last year, Brandon Cooks, 81 catches for 1,150 yards, which is surprising to me that he had that many yards and that many catches.
Yeah, I thought he was out for a lot of the year.
He was, but that's my point. Brandon Cooks has always produced.
I've never seen a guy have such consistently solid stats and get traded so much.
Oh, agreed. Look, over the last 4 years, let's go 6 years. 84 catches, 78, 65, 80, 42 when he only played in 14 games, and then 81 in 15 games. He's averaged 14.2 yards per catch. That's a solid number 2 wide receiver. Would I be happy with him and Amari Cooper? No. But that's a solid number 2.
I think that's who you want as your number 3. I think you want him as your number 3.
Okay. I'm looking at stats last year. Just, do you know he never had under 5 catches the entire year? Not once.
How many games did he play?
15.
So he never had less
than 5. Sorry. No. He had 2 games under 5. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, otherwise he never had less than 5, but never had more than 7? That doesn't make any sense.
No, sorry. I was looking at targets, not receptions.
Well, but here's the thing. With Brandon Cooks, you can get him cheap.
Sure. Absolutely.
That's why I'm saying he can be a number 3. And if that's a guy you want to go for, I'm good with.
Yeah, I like that. Okay. Jacksonville, where's Trevor Lawrence? Is Trevor Lawrence worth taking this year? Outside of a dynasty game.
1 QB, 2 QB.
One QB league.
What he would be is he would be a lower end starter, a backup or a high end backup. And if you're going QB, running back, wide out, tight end the first 7-8 rounds, and you're skipping the first 8 quarterbacks, you take a flyer with him and a Matt Ryan, and you alternate based on who they're playing.
Okay, Indianapolis, I'm going to make very quick. Jonathan Taylor's a first-round pick, and nobody else is worth anything on that team.
Which is why Jonathan Taylor may not be worth a first-round pick.
Fair enough. Okay, moving to the West. We know what Mahomes gives you. We know what Tyreek Hill gives you. We know what Kelsey gives you. Those are the top 3 players at their positions. Where does Hilaire go? Last year, Hilaire was going first round.
Now he'll go second.
Second round. Okay.
And do you have Hill over Devontae Adams?
No, sorry. He's the number 2.
He's number 2.
I am not a fan of Tyreek Hill. Consistency-wise, I am not a fan of Tyreek Hill. I will spend $5 to $6 more on Devontae Adams than I will Tyreek Hill.
Remember that next week.
I'm telling you that right now. We are going to rectify the Devontae Adams debacle from last year.
For those of you who I was not pleased.
We could talk next week about it. Denver Broncos, Melvin Gordon, where? No Phillip Lindsay, but yes to Javonte Williams.
You're looking at a potential platoon.
Again.
And it leaves you, he's a top 25 running back. So he's your
stickers on John Tussle.
Exactly. So he's what? 6th round, 7th round, 8th round.
Okay. Josh Jacobs is the number 1 in Las Vegas, but Kenyon Drake is almost there.
Kenyon Drake is almost there?
Yeah, Kenyon Drake is almost there. That's right.
So is Josh Jacobs worth a 2nd round pick at this point?
No. Josh Jacobs was the number 21 running back in fantasy last year.
I know.
Their offensive line went down because they traded like 3 of their guys. They have no wideouts, and they brought in Kenyon Drake.
Wait. You don't think Henry Ruggs? I think Henry Ruggs will be a top 30 wideout by the end of this year.
Great.
I think he's a top 2. He's definitely a number 3 and maybe a number 2.
Great. Okay. So is that really an incentive to keep Josh Jacobs?
Fair enough.
Okay, one go on one leg, one go on the other. Come on.
Okay, Justin Herbert. Where in the quarterback realm is Justin Herbert?
Left and you are
on
the right.
Highest in top 5 or highest in top 10?
Guys, dinner's ready. Go. Later, guys. I'll see you in a little while. He's around set. I think he's in that as of now. Look, for fantasy purposes, you have Mahomes. Let's kind of take a look at this from a position standpoint. You have Mahomes, you have Allen. Yep. Those are 1, 2. You have the Prescott, Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
3, 4, 5. Kyler Murray 6. And then you have Rodgers, Herbert,
Stafford.
Stafford, Tannehill. You have these guys between 4 and 10, which are all interchangeable, and he's in that group.
Okay, so let's move on to the NFC real quick. We have 10 more minutes. We're shortchanging the NFC. Is there anybody on the Bears worth taking?
Allen Robinson
and Raquan Smith, if you're looking for a defensive player.
Fair.
Okay, Allen Robinson.
He's a high end number 2. He's a low to mid number 1. But the problem is the quarterback position, as much as I've liked Andy Dalton over the years. And I don't know I don't know how long he'll be there. And I don't know how he's going to connect with Fields. Fields is great talent, but rookie quarterback. And, I'm not a Montgomery guy.
Right. And I have been a Montgomery guy, but we'll see what this year brings. Minnesota with Jefferson, Thielen. Are you taking Jefferson over Thielen this year?
Yeah. Jefferson's the one. Thielen had a really nice couple-year run, but he's the number 2 there.
Okay. Detroit, DeAndre Swift, a 1, a 2, or a 3? Because I'm thinking he's probably a 3 at this point.
I think he's a 3. I think he's getting a little bit too much love. They have no wideouts, so they're going to put 8 in the box. And Detroit has a decent offensive line, but Swift is not breaking 8 in the box, and Jared Goff at this point with your number one receiver, I believe, is Amon-Ra St. Brown or Tyrell Williams in Detroit. So
I'm gonna love this question. Where is Aaron Jones going for you? Because if we're giving so much love to Aaron Rodgers and so much love to Devontae Adams, which we are, and we have in the last couple of weeks, you and I talking about this, where does Aaron Jones fit in?
I think he's at a 12. He's at that 11 to 15 position.
Okay.
He was my stud last year, which is how I won the league.
And he got the extension even with A.J. Dillon there. So
he did get the extension, but I do think Dillon's going to get some of the goal line carries. He doesn't catch the ball out of the backfield. There's nothing not to like about him as a player. I just know for fantasy purposes, I'm not running for him.
Would you be happy in a 2-quarterback league with Jameis Winston as one of your quarterbacks? Oh, I like that look. That's a great look.
I like him more than most people do. I don't know yet. I don't think anyone can know. Would I be happy to have him kind of if you said him, we have Aaron Rodgers, who we're keeping probably,
sure.
And then we had Winston and Tyrod Taylor, and we spent $4 on each of them, allowing us to go spend like crazy on the other positions. Would I be good? Yeah, I'd be good.
Okay.
But it's predicated, like it's everything else in life. It's predicated on what you're getting for him.
Sure.
If we're getting him at $15, I'm not thrilled. If we're getting him at $5, yeah.
Look, and my top, I think I've made this pretty clear. I want Tyrod Taylor, I want Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Jameis Winston would be fine. Like 2 of those 3, along with Rodgers, would make me very happy at 10 or below. Any of those guys. Carolina, Sam Darnold, yay or nay?
Yay.
Yay. Okay. In the same boat as the Winstons?
Yeah, because he has wideouts.
No, agreed. I'm just asking. So
he has it all. He doesn't have Adam Gase.
Sure.
He has Christian McCaffrey.
Sure.
And he has
DJ Moore.
Moore and Robbie Anderson.
Yep.
Yeah. But Robbie Anderson was 95 and 1100. DJ Moore is a middle to low end number 1 wideout. Those are 2 good wide receivers.
I don't dispute that. So if we're putting these into tiers, if we're getting Aaron Rodgers, any of those now 4 are in this game.
Look, we need to see who the keepers are.
Sure.
But my money, we've never spent money on quarterbacks.
I know this. Never. Yeah.
And I would rather in normal situations, we're not the guys who spend $40 to get Mahomes. That's just never been our way. And we have our tight end, we have our stud running back.
Yep.
We know the position and we have money. Yep. We're not keeping ridiculous prices. We know who we can spend on.
Sure.
We just have to do it.
Correct. Okay, moving on. Tampa Bay, is Tom Brady. Look, we didn't mention Tom Brady in that tier. Where is Tom Brady in that tier for you?
High.
He's top 5?
He's about 4 or 5 because that team can't run the ball. And they have so many goddamn passing weapons at this point.
Okay. Are you picking Godwin over Evans or Evans over Godwin?
Godwin over Evans. Okay. Evans is too inconsistent for me for fantasy.
Okay, so let's move on to the Falcons. And where is Mike Smith in your realm?
He is the Jameis Winston of running backs.
You're not sure.
He's around 20 to 22. He's I've seen him I do mocks.
Sure.
Around 6th or 7th round. If you can get a starting running, but look, he was good in Carolina.
He was.
He did a good job.
He's one of those guys I'm looking at for late for us.
Yeah.
I mean,
and they have a quarterback.
Sure.
They have a number 1 wideout. We think.
Oh, Ridley's the number 1 wideout.
Well, Ridley has never been the number one without Julio Jones over.
Sure. Fair
That's
enough.
what I mean. He's their number 1. He's a number 1 for fantasy, but we don't really know yet. And they got Kyle Pitts, who's going to help a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on, we got the West, and then I want to ask you one other question. Who's the best quarterback in this conference, in this division?
For fantasy purposes or just in general?
So Russell Wilson, Matthew Stafford, Kyler Murray, or Jimmy Garoppolo?
Russell Wilson.
Okay.
I don't trust Kyler Murray. I mean, he's incredibly talented, but he fell off the face of the earth the second half of last year, and he looked like the first half of the MVP. Stafford is Stafford. Like he's got a better team around them.
Sure.
But Stafford threw for 5,000 yards every year and got 25 touchdowns. I don't think that's going to change that much.
Okay. Okay. Cooper Kupp or Robert Woods?
Robert Woods.
Without any hesitation, it's Robert Woods.
Not even a discussion.
Okay, fair enough. I see, and I'm a little torn on the Kyler Murray. And the reasoning is Kyler Murray runs, right? A lot more than Russell Wilson does. So he gets a little bit more of the points from running.
Yes.
Are you taking Darnell
Henderson? He's saying he does not want to be a runner.
Well, okay. Neither did Donovan McNabb, Lamar Jackson, or any running quarterback.
Fair.
Darnell Henderson, Darrell Henderson, or Sonny Michel?
Darrell Henderson.
Okay. So the last question, and then we'll do our final five. Julio Jones, where is he in your drafts? So he's against. So Julio Jones has been a second-round receiver for the last 10 years, right?
Yes.
Give or take. Lowest third, and definitely a first-rounder for numerous years. Now he goes to Tennessee against A.J. Brown, who is probably a better wide receiver than he is, and probably a second-round pick. So where is Julio Jones going in your drafts?
8th round, 9th round, 10th round. He's number 30 to 35. He's not.
Is he a guy you want?
Not particularly.
Okay.
Because we don't know if he's injured. We don't know exactly, I don't know. Look, I don't know. But it does make me want Ryan Tannehill.
Okay, that's fair. And where is Tannehill is in your middle tier, I would think.
Yeah,
yes?
he's in that 5 to 10 range. In my other league, in my other league, Superflex league, I got him at $5.
Yep.
How do you drop someone at $5? How do you drop him at $5?
No,
he's going somewhere typically between 7 and 10 as a quarterback.
Okay, so we're into our last 5. I will go very quickly, very first. Okay, in the year of how can the Mets mess this up anymore? I mean, look, you spent 90 days in first place, and now you're in third place. Your Jared Porter, I'm going to make you general manager, blew up in your face because, wow, Jared Porter. Like, that's all you need to say. Then you have Mickey Callaway news. Wow, Mickey Callaway, right? I mean, there's nothing more that you can do there either. And on the 1-year anniversary of Tom Seaver's passing, Zach Scott, the interim GM, decides to drive drunk.
I forgot. It's not this. It's this.
Right. I wasn't even going to this. But that makes what's even worse is he drove drunk home from a fundraiser that was being held at Steve Cohen's house. You can't make this crap up. If you are a Mets fan, you want to know why I look forward to the Islanders signings today? Because the alternative is the Jets or the Mets. And while the Mets did this and won both ends of their doubleheader last night, they're still under 500. So, yuck.
Well articulated.
Thank you.
And he there's a couple things I'd like to talk about. One being, of course, the high school football team that didn't exist.
Oh, yeah, that too. That was awesome. I played for them too.
I was going to say, that may explain how badly they got whooped.
Probably.
But we talk about free agency and basketball and football and this and that. Free agency in European soccer just blows everything away. They won't trade Kylian Mbappe for 220 million euro. Cristiano Ronaldo is going to 5 teams, ends up back at Man U. You have literally $1.4 billion of transitions over a week. You know what? That beats Laurie Marketing any day in any style. And it leads to some of the rich get really, really rich, but some of the formerly rich are now really freaking poor. And I'm talking about you, Barcelona. Good luck with that.
So for Seth Kamens, who's over there, I'm Sean Palmer. We'll see you next Wednesday. For those in fantasy drafts, good luck to you. For those that are celebrating, a very happy New Year. And for those that have Monday off, well, happy Labor Day. All right, we'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thumbs up, guys.
See ya. Thumbs up. I hate you.